Hey everyone, welcome to the Industry Show. I'm your host Nitin Bajaj, and joining me today is Reshma Dordi. Reshma, welcome on the show.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Pleasure is all ours, and it's good to see you on the other side for a change.
Yes, it's good to be here. It's a strange feeling, but I'll get used to it.
So let's start with the big question: who is Reshma?
Wow, that is a big question. I think, Reshma, the first thing that comes to my mind is a mother. Secondly, I would say I'm a very proud Indian American in that order. I'm born in India, very proud of my culture, where I come from, and I'm very proud of my home in America. So I think in that order it would be Indian American. In terms of some personality traits, I guess I can be a little capricious at times. I am impatient at times, very ambitious, tenacious, hardworking, and always passionate.
I think you missed out two things. One, you're a celebrity, and two, you're an entrepreneur.
Yes, well, I don't know about the celebrity bit, but being an entrepreneur actually was something that was taught by my father, even though he was a surgeon by profession. But he always had a very entrepreneurial spirit. And many, many years ago, when I won the pageant in 1988, I won the amount of $2,000. And he sat me down and he said, "Well, what are you going to do with this money?" And I said, "I haven't thought about it." He said, "Well, you've got a couple of choices." And remember, imagine 1988, $2,000
A
was a
lot of money.
decent amount of money for an
Yes.
18-year-old,
Yeah.
right? So he's like, you could blow it on clothes, whatever, or you could take this money and do something with it where it's going to grow. And I was always wanting to be in broadcast journalism, always. Since I was 14 years old, I knew this is what I wanted. That was my calling in life. And he said, well, and at that time, there weren't many, many radio programs here in LA. So he said, why not you start your own radio program? So why don't you take these $2,000, buy, in those days, okay, I am ancient, guys, I'm dating myself. Those were audio cassettes.
Yes.
Even CDs hadn't come out
Yeah.
yet. Can you imagine? So it was audio cassettes. I bought up myself a mixer to do that, and I leased some airtime, and I started my radio program that ran for what, 20 some years on the air.
Wow. That's
And
such an
that
amazing
became my
story.
little livelihood while I was going to college. That was my side job.
Wow. Well, would love to dive deeper into that one of these days. Tell us about Reshma Beauty.
So Reshma Beauty, so everything in my life has happened in very organically. It was always one thing led to another. So first, before I get to Reshma Beauty, if that's
Sure.
okay, I would like to talk about how Showbiz India was born,
Please.
because that's how Palke radio program led to Showbiz India, which was, again, by then I had graduated with my broadcast journalism degree, and I had interned with CNN. So I kind of learned the ropes of producing and directing a TV show. And then I got married young, early, and my daughter was born. And I didn't want to give up my career, yet I didn't want to be a not hands on mom. So, what I wanted to do at that time, again, this is before the advent of ZTV, Sony TV, or even any satellite, TV Asia, there weren't enough TV programs. So, I took my love for being an Indian, which is always kind of being true to my roots, and my entrepreneurial spirit, and Showbiz India was born 2 years after my daughter was born.
Wow.
And this way I could have, a career in broadcast journalism. And yet my daughter came to many of my interviews. She came to the office many times. And so it was kind of again, it was a very organic way of growing. And I never even thought in my head at that time that one day it would be nationwide or worldwide. It was just something I just wanted to do. And it was my love and my passion. And then over the years, my father, who always had, like I said, the love for being an entrepreneur, and also I'm his only daughter, so I was the apple of his eye. He started a brand called Reshma Henna under my name. He was doing the brand. I was busy with my television career, being a mom, all that. And my father unfortunately had a very bad stroke in 2000s, And after that stroke had left him paralyzed, he lost his speech and so forth. And we had just given it Reshma Beauty to some distributors because my father also had started a pharmaceutical factory in India, which grew to more than one factory. And my family was busy with that business. And my mother was a very strong force also behind me. I say my father was the ambitious one, but
Mhm.
my mom, like, I guess a stereotype mom in that sense
The
was the wings
foundation.
beneath the wings. You know what I mean? But she's not stereotypically Indian woman in any way, though. She runs the factories even today. She's my brother's boss and my boss.
Wow.
She's 76 years old and goes to the factory every single day.
Wow.
So, anyway, that happened. And then my father passed away. And a year later, again, a lot of people don't know this, but a year later, after my dad passed away, I went to India and contracted malaria in 2010. And I ended up on a ventilator. My family was told I wasn't going to make it. My mother flew down, my brother. And again, a lot of people don't know, but 1 million people a year die of malaria.
Yes.
And my organs had started shutting down, and you know a lot of people prayed for me, and I still truly believe that the power of prayer
Mhm.
is why I'm here today. My doctors still tell me that they think I'm a miracle, and at that time I had an epiphany of sorts of taking over Reshma Henna. I don't know what it was.
Mhm.
Um, you know, spiritually, universally, I really don't know what it was. And I started looking into Reshma Henna, and I realized there was a lot of counterfeit out there with my name and face because not enough people, there was not enough stock.
Right.
And that counterfeit, by the way, still exists today, and I'm finally going to fight it. If you go to these Indian stores, you'll see two different types of henna. My old picture, where you can tell clearly it's a counterfeit, and my new picture when I redid it. So that is how Reshma Beauty was born. I'm sorry that was a very long winded answer, but I didn't know a short way to tell you.
No, but that's such an amazing. It's a journey in itself, right? And you've had ups and downs, and end of the day, I do agree with your doctors. You are a miracle, and you are a power to be reckoned with. Uh, so much, I think, so much emotion and passion has gone into this. Um Tell us where the the company, the brand is today. Of course, you're fighting the counterfeits, but you're also partnering with the likes of Walmart to bring the products to pretty much anyone at their fingertips. So, give us a sense of the size and scale of your operations today.
So it's everything is a journey, like you said,
Yes.
right? And sorry, my dog is licking me now. He's right here, so I'll show him to you later.
Yes.
So um, it has been a journey, and boy, what a journey it has been. And I think every entrepreneur goes through ups and downs. Every person goes through ups and downs in life, right? It's what you take away from it. I made a lot of mistakes, Nitin, especially in the beginning, because I am, again, TV, radio personality.
Mhm.
I can edit in my sleep. I can see one frame off. Never seen an Excel sheet in my life, believe it or not. And I was like, whoa, what are these numbers and tabs? And it was very intimidating. And and I think I'm averagely intelligent, but it was, I mean, margins and gross margin. I was like, oh my God, where am I? So I did make a lot of mistakes, learned from a lot of mistakes, and I'm sure I'll keep making mistakes. Um, you know, um, and I learned slowly by going to trade shows. And today I'm very proud to say we're in Walmart, we're in Kroger, we're in Sally Beauty, we're in Wegmans, we're, of course, on Amazon's Choice for many places. Gosh, we're in a lot of different stores. I don't know if I'm missing any. I think I am. But yes, we're in a lot of different stores. And it gives me a lot of pride where
Mhm.
I can go to any city and say, hey, can I do a store check? You know? So that it gives you a feeling of accomplishment for sure.
And you should be proud of what you have accomplished, and I can relate to some of that, coming from a completely different domain and industry and going into having to dive into that heart of you know, the numbers and the supply chain, right? In your case, that's a pretty big deal. And then be able to make those relationships in the Walmarts and the Amazons, not an easy task to do by any means. There is so many brands out there, but yeah, I think the demand, the quality, right, of course helps get on the shelf and stay there. So kudos to you and the product that you built that has made that inroads and that connection with your customer base.
Well, thank you. And like you said, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but if the product is not good, it's not going to stick. So
Yes.
I think that authenticity has to be there. And I am very authentic. And my products are very authentic. All the stuff that is now, for example, let me go back and talk about yoga, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yoga has been a tradition for us for centuries together. I'm quite a bit of a yogi, by the way. And now I go to yoga studios, I don't even necessarily see one Indian there,
Yes.
because everyone has understood how yoga is so beneficial for you, your body, your mind, your spirit. And similarly, turmeric. Let's talk about turmeric. I read an article earlier this year in Time magazine that turmeric is being called the golden spice because of the fact that it's anti-carcinogenic, medically proven, it's anti-inflammatory, it's I don't know, it's got antioxidant. I mean, it's got so many amazing qualities. I could go on and on. And I still remember my grandmother, and I think almost every Indian has a story where when I scraped my knee, my grandmother would take a
Yep.
nice warm cloth, put turmeric, and put it on your knee to
Mm-hmm.
help with the clotting of your blood and
Yes.
help with the inflammation. And now suddenly it's blowing up in the beauty world. But we've had Upton
Yes.
forever,
Yeah.
right? So same thing with coconut. Which Indian doesn't remember putting coconut oil in their hair?
Yes.
So these are, I mean, they're not mine. They're my ancestors' traditions, and I'm just borrowing with pride.
Yes. And I think it comes down to the purity and the authenticity, like you said, right? Uh, Other people have copied it, but it's not, the authenticity is missing. They don't understand the value and the properties of these ingredients. And I think that makes a lot of difference. You've personally experienced a lot of this, you know the why behind it, and you're able to bring it to the customers in its purest sense.
Absolutely. And I'm all about natural. I'm truly am an ambassador of being a natural brand. I use my own henna hair coloring. I use all of my own products because I don't want to, if I don't like it, then why should I even have those?
Yeah.
So yes, my hair is real. I'm asked that many times. There is no extension, I promise. And I do oil my hair very much. These are some of the questions I get all the time, especially by women, not by men so much.
Well, thanks for clearing the air on that one. So there's no suspense.
Yes.
Reshma, you mentioned counterfeit goods. I'm wondering, is there another challenge that you're facing as a business owner?
I think as a business person, we face challenges every day. I think no matter what business it is, um, every day there's some fire to be put
Yeah.
out. you know, the counterfeit is definitely a very big challenge, but there's always challenges. When COVID happened,
Yes.
all the POs got canceled.
Mhm.
It was a scary time, but then we pivoted, made some hand sanitizer, but then of course the rest of the world made hand sanitizer. Now you can't give it away for free,
Yes.
So, there's always some challenge or the other. My motto is, and I think my team really helps me, and that's something I would like to try and coach. I try to say I'm like the head coach, you know, there's always a way. You can find a solution. It's there hidden. And sometimes just being creative and finding a way to do things, you can do it. And I think
Uh,
Indians are great at that. In India, I think they call it jugaad.
yes. I was just about to say that that's the best way to come up with creative solutions.
There always is a way, though. You just have
Yes.
to try hard enough.
True. On the flip side of challenges are opportunities. Is there one big opportunity you're looking at or targeting right now?
I am looking at a few opportunities. I have some more doors opening up, but I'm superstitious. I don't want to talk about
Of
them
course.
till they happen.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, I think I've not even scratched the surface, and there's just so much out there to do. Yeah, there's just a lot of opportunities in any field. I think you just have to pivot, and even with TV, like when TV came, then ZTV came, Sony's TV came. Oh, we're gonna go away. We didn't go away. We joined them. Now my show is on ZTV. With now with the digital platform, we're gonna go away. Maybe we are, or we'll find a way to survive. You just have to be creative and believe and love your craft.
Yeah. That's the true spirit of entrepreneurship, right? Keep evolving, keep finding new ways to not just stay alive, but to thrive. So,
Absolutely. I was it Darwin, I think, who said this, that the survival of people is not of the fittest or
yeah.
of the ones who are the strongest
Mhm.
or the most intelligent. It is the people who are ready to be changed. You
Yes.
have to remember that you can be ready for change. I think being resilient is probably one of the most treasured um, characteristics you can have.
Very well said. You also mentioned having made some mistakes, which we all do, and I
A lot
think
of mistakes.
yes, I think the key there is to realize that we do make them and we learn from them. I want to know if there is a lesson learned or even a success story as you look back in the rearview mirror, a success story that you're proud of, or a lesson learned or a mistake that really stood out for you and became something that you look back at and you know learn from and draw from.
I think the lesson, again, you learn many lessons every day.
Yeah.
I think I made a fatal mistake when I started Reshma Beauty, thinking I would let other people run it and just be the face of it and the ambassador of it. And because I was so into my TV career, because that was my first love, I realized very quickly you can't be a hands off CEO. You're not going to do well if you're going to be a hands-off CEO. You have to know every nook and cranny. You have to know every part, be willing to do anything. And that's when things turn around.
And you have to go into those Excel sheets and different tabs and figure out those numbers.
Well, I have a funny story to tell you. I had just recently we were doing a subscription box, and
Mhm.
we had a bunch of, right now there's a big shortage of truckers, and
Yes. Yeah.
transportation is a big problem. And
Mhm.
one of our vendors wasn't able to get the stuff on time, and she was poor thing, and very, very concerned because she wasn't going to make her deadline because our truckers weren't getting there. I mean, these are not my truckers, but truckers that
Yeah.
work. I was ready to rent a U-Haul and go and take it. I didn't find it. True story. And there's no shame in that.
Yes.
My daughter was very worried about me because she knows her mom and she knew I would do it. She's like, okay, I'm going to come with you. It's not that easy. Luckily, we were able to find a last minute trucker who went. But, this is the kind of love and passion I have for my company. And
Yes.
I am willing to do anything.
And like you
Oh,
said,
I'm sorry. I think my dog just walked across the
no,
screen.
he's welcome on the screen when he wants to join.
Okay.
Uh, it speaks to that resilience and being relentless, right? Just doing what it takes to be hands-on and keep things moving in the right direction.
Yes, exactly. I mean, as any successful, I think, business owner can tell you, they are willing to do whatever it takes to, to make sure that the business goes on as always, because the
Mhm.
buck just stops with you and it doesn't matter at that time.
So true. Reshma, I want to switch gears a little bit and further the conversation along and get to know you a little better in the process. The way we do this is through a series of one-line life lessons that either you have come up with or you have come to adopt, and have helped shape you, your thinking, your approach to business, and just even to life. And I would invite you to share a few of those lessons with us.
Yes, I have thought about few life lessons. One of my favorite things to do is at night when I have some downtime is I read a lot. And one of my favorite things to do is to read quotes sometimes, those inspirational quotes that resonate with me, or, things that, just stick out to me. Sometimes they could be funny, sometimes they could be, serious, whatever. But one of the things that I've always remembered, she's one of my favorite, is Maya Angelou. And she had written one of her famous poems is, excuse me if I don't say it verbatim, but it was, people will forget what you didn't get that. Did you hear that? He's playing with his squeaky toy. Now, people will forget what you said to them. People will forget what you did to them or for them, but they will never forget how you made them feel.
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of truth to that.
I agree.
If you think about it, you will forget what did they say, whatever, but you remember if that person made you feel special.
Yes.
Or if they made you feel not very good about yourself. So be kind, you never know what someone else's journey is, and what they're going through. And so that was one thing that I really, really live by. And, let's see what else of one-liners that I can think of. That was one of them. The Charles Darwin one is another one that I was talking about. The fact that, just be resilient. One thing constant is change, right?
Yes.
That's one thing that will always happen. I mean, I don't think anyone could have imagined COVID and what's it done to the world. No one, I mean, they kind of had predictions, but no one knew to the extent of it, right? And, measures your success by how many smiles you have, or you get, or how many smiles you give. Then, I mean, yes, success, wealth, all that is important, but you truly just go with your memories. I've been there. I've been on my deathbed.
Yes.
And none of that is important. You just go with your memories. So I think that leads me to another one. Live every day as it's going to be your last, because one day it will be.
Yes.
We don't know when it's going to be. So, try not to have grudges or hold grudges. Make amends, make peace. With whoever. I think there was one more that I was thinking about that I had thought of, but I can't remember right now. So give me a second. I had it here because that was one thing that you had written, and I thought it was very beautiful to be able to share that with other people. So is that okay if I just look real quick?
Sure thing.
Yeah, this is another one that I actually love. Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's learning to dance in the rain.
I love that one.
Yes. And that brings me to another one. It's a Leanne Warmick song, actually. And I used to always sing the song to my daughter. And I actually, on her 18th birthday, did a whole montage of her pictures to the song. And the main part of the song is, in life, when you get a chance to sit it out or dance, dance.
Yes.
So I think these are a few of the one-liners that I live by, and I think defines who I am.
Love those. Reshma, thank you so much for being here with us today and for sharing your journey, but also those one-line life lessons. We would love to stay in touch, bring you back on, and talk a little more about some more new challenges and some more new successes that you continue to address and take on. So thank you once again.
It's been my pleasure, Nitin. It's so great speaking to you. And you always have such a wonderful, warm smile and a great spirit every time I ran into you before COVID. Hopefully, I'll get to see you again soon.
Looking forward to that. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.